Hey, hey, dirty girls. Welcome to Power, Not Permission. And today we're going to talk about how we manage our career like a CEO, which is the way we really should be managing not just our career, but also our life. But today I want to talk about it specifically in terms of career management, because I know that a lot of you ambitious women have a vision for where you want to go, for the kind of leader you want to be, for the impact you want to make on the world. And I also know that a lot of us with this ambitious woman quality get a little bit frustrated about the progress we're making or not making. And I think a lot of it has to do with whether or not we're approaching how we manage our career. And are we managing it like a CEO, like we are the CEO and owner of this career, of this path, of this thing we want to accomplish, of the things we want to do and the impact we want to make, and the world and the life that we're hoping to build and create for ourselves. Now, one thing that I think we don't always pay attention to, but it's really important, is that often this glass ceiling, and you'll hear me talk about it as a glass obstacle course, right? Things get in the way and we have to work around them. But what I found is that this glass ceiling or glass obstacle course, this shows up internally in us before we ever get to the external obstacles, which might be like the external obstacles can exist, right? It's something like it's a skills gap. It's something that I don't know how to do yet that I have to learn. That's an obstacle. I have to figure out my way through that. It can be the work environment you're in if it's a toxic environment. It can be the boss or the person around you. Like those external factors will exist, but often we run into the internal glass ceiling or the internal roadblock before we get to those external ones. As CEO of our career, we have to own and manage those before we can manage the external ones. Now, think about that. The role of a CEO. A CEO invests in their business, and they invest in their business based on the vision that they have, what they want to achieve, and what are the practical, tangible things they need to do, they need to have, what does the company need to have in place, what's the kind of talent and resources that need to be available to get there. So today I want to talk about how you put on your CEO hat for your career and invest in your own kind of leadership operating system. This is for you because this is what you're going to bring to the table of your career and where you go in your career. There are two distinct profiles I find of the ambitious women that I coach. And one of them is this CEO leader. It's the woman who comes to me and says, "Hey, listen, I know where I want to go. I know I've got to make a plan to get there, and I need a coach because I need help on really getting crystal clear on those next steps and how I want to show up and navigating this glass obstacle course." And when she comes to me, she's pretty clear on what she needs to do, and she wants help and support to get there, to do it better, and to do it faster. So she's all about protecting her energy, managing the ecosystem, and managing her time. Right? These some of them are very tactical and tangible things, and some of them are mindset things. How am I thinking about where I want to end up and the goals I want to achieve, and how do I get there? Now, the other profile leader is what I call the drifting leader, the drift leader. Now, she also is ambitious. She has ideas and a vision for where she wants to go. But the drift leader tends to wait for her boss to recognize her work and promote her, for someone else to say, "Hey, I have an opportunity that you'd be great for." And they pull her out and they bring her somewhere else. And while she's waiting, she's working really hard. She is often over delivering, exuding a whole bunch of energy, expending her energy on a whole bunch of projects to constantly prove just how valuable she is, just how much work she can do, just how much she brings to the table. And in that constant proving of herself, she's waiting to be recognized for all the work and skills and talents that she brings. And sometimes she is, and that's rewarded. and sometimes not so much. That's a leader who drifts. That's somebody who's stumbling into or getting pulled into opportunities, but she's not guiding and owning her career. The CEO leader is making that choice of, I'm going to drive this. And here's the thing, you have everything you need to be a CEO leader. You have the talent, you have the ideas, you have the vision. What we're talking about today is how do we shift into the operator mode, into actually showing up as a CEO leader? Now, the first step in this is about the mindset. How are we thinking about ourselves as leaders? How are we navigating through our day, each moment, each decision? And are we doing that as a CEO leader, or are we doing that as a drifting leader? Now, I'm going to talk about mindset shifts, and we will talk in the future, and there's other videos on here also that cover this, about the actions that we take, the habits, right? Breaking old patterns. But I want to tell you first, until we shift the mindset, all the action plans we make for how we're going to do things differently won't matter, because they won't stick, because we have old thoughts and old patterns still locked in our brain that's guiding the choices that we make. So I'm going to start today with 3 mindset shifts that are going to take you from being a drifting leader into being a CEO leader. And if you're already thinking you're a CEO leader, then I want you to think about these mindset shifts and get yourself some clarity around how much you're actually doing these things, because this is the foundation for how we take charge of our lives. I'm saying our career because we're talking about career stuff, but truthfully, this is the same way we take control of the life that we're creating and what we're building. The first mindset shift that we're going to talk about: identity before tactics. Identity before tactics. Who you believe you are, what you believe about yourself, who you are, is what runs the game. That identity is what makes the decisions. If you believe that you are good at your job and you do things well, and your job is to wait for others to tell you what to do, then you're not leading, and you'll never lead, because your belief is that other people have to give you direction. If you believe, and that defines then, right? If that's what I believe, then the tactics, the way I execute that, is I wait. I might raise my hand for things, but I'm raising my hand for things that I know are safe and defined within the scope of who I am. If my identity is that I am a confident, visionary leader, and I have these 3 things that are part of my vision that I've got to go do, then that's going to drive more of the choices of what I choose to put my energy on and what I focus on. So get clear on your identity. Are you a high-powered, big moves, loud, forceful, kind of force of energy leader? Are you a thoughtful, kind of calm, grounded, take your time sort of leader, methodical maybe in your approach? Like, there's all kinds of leadership styles and leadership energies that you can think about what suits you, but get really clear on your leader identity and who you want to be as a CEO. Who is she? What does she look like? What does she dress like? What does she eat for breakfast in the morning? What's the energy she brings to the table? When you know who she is, that is what's going to guide what you do. So identity before tactics, because the identity, who you see yourself as, drives the tactics. The tactics are the practical things you're going to do. That's the first mindset shift. Get really clear on your leadership identity. 2, put your energy in front of evidence. Now, this is kind of the whole basis of this channel and the whole basis of the theme of Dirty Girls coaching and consulting and how we approach things, which is our energy leads. Our energy leads. And what we bring when we show up in a room, when we show up at a meeting, when we pick up the phone, when we walk in the door, the energy we bring with us absolutely influences everything else. Now, as a leader, the energy I bring to the table is going to influence, what does the project look like? What's the pipeline growth going to be? What's the budget that I have? Who are the people or the resources that I need to do this? And what am I going to get? If I have my CEO identity clear and I'm bringing that CEO identity and energy into every conversation, that's going to influence what happens next. So energy before evidence. If we are waiting for the evidence of what's going to happen before we choose the energy we're going to show up with, we're back in waiting mode. The evidence we're waiting for is, well, how much budget am I going to get? We're asking questions and we're waiting to be told. How many resources am I going to get? What are the targets I'm going to get? What is this going to look like? Tell me what you need. Give me the evidence and the pieces, and then I will go fit and make that work. That's not leadership. That's reaction. And there are plenty of people who move through the world that way. There are plenty of people who manage their careers that way. And if that's you and you're happy with that, that's great. But that means this training isn't for you. This training is for, do you want to be the CEO of your career? And do you want to own, manage, and drive where you're going to go? Do you have a vision for where you want to go? Identity, right? Mindset number one. And how you're going to get there is the energy you bring to the table. So we want our identity before we move into tactics. We want our energy clear before we start looking for evidence and other people to support and validate us. And three, clarity before consensus. This is a really hard one for a lot of the women that I work with because as women, we have been trained for years to work in a consensus model, to work in a model where everybody's comfortable, we're doing all the things, and we are getting consensus. We're not doing anything to ruffle feathers. We've been trained this way since grade school, right? What do we learn as we're little girls? We learn to make good grades. We learn to behave well, to do well at school, get the pat on the head from the teacher, get the pat on the head from our parents, and we are rewarded. And this good girl model works to a certain point in our career. And at a certain point in our career, we have to decide, do we want to be the good girl who reacts and responds to everything around her? And so she is a drifting leader, right? She's going and she's doing what is being asked of her. Or do we want to be a CEO leader? Do we want to be the CEO of our career and drive to the vision that we have? They are two distinct choices. And if you want to be the CEO leader, we have to leave the good girl patterns behind. It's great to be a good girl. We all want to be good girls. We want to be nice. We want to make people happy. We want to make sure everybody's comfortable and they have what they need. But this is not how you lead. Now, that's not to say that to lead, you have to be a jerk. We don't have to be assholes to be leaders. But if we put consensus, if we put everybody agreeing and everybody supporting and everybody validating ahead of our clarity of vision and where we want to go, we're never going to get there. We're never going to get to where we're going to go. We're going to get to some Frankenstein model path of everybody's inputs and everybody's ideas cramming on top of ours, and suddenly we are off course and we are drifting. We are drifting according to the influence. So clarity of your vision. CEOs don't ask, is everybody going to like this? CEOs don't worry, how is this going to land with everybody? Maybe I need to check. And actually, I will say, if you've worked for a CEO who does this, and I have, it's incredibly frustrating. It is incredibly frustrating because you never land anywhere solid. You never land anywhere with true advancement. And actually, it's usually very unclear and murky because you have way too many opinions, ideas, and things being crammed into something, and there is no clarity. So you, as a CEO leader of your career, need clarity before you worry about whether or not you're going to get consensus and support. That comes next, and it's not that consensus and support isn't helpful, useful, and a resource that you need. Sure it is. But you as the CEO get to define the role that plays. That doesn't drive your vision. Your clarity does. So the three mindset shifts to focus on: identity before tactics, energy before evidence, and clarity before consensus. Now, why these three? I start with these three because there's a whole bunch of inner thoughts, inner beliefs that we carry with us that are so patterned. We're so used to them. We kind of accept them as true without really calling it out that actually maybe that's not right or accurate or not what I need to hold on to. And when you start digging into those three, we start unwinding some of those. So I'm going to give you some examples of some of these inner beliefs that we hold on to, that these three mindset shifts help us unwind. First is this idea that I don't want to make others uncomfortable. We were raised to make everybody comfortable, to do all the things so that nobody's upset, everybody has what they need. And if you in particular are a Gen Xer and you're in between, we are kind of an in-between generation, right? The women's lib movement and women moving into the workforce as an expected thing, right? As an expected societal norm only happened with our generation, right? Our mothers, a lot of our mothers did work, but it was still very much, there were still plenty more women who were not working and certainly not working full time and certainly not the main caretaker or the main breadwinner for their household. It's our generation that started making that the norm. And as we made working women, main breadwinner, taking care of themselves financially, economically, the norm, we didn't let go. We didn't let go of taking care of the family, of taking care of the kids, of taking care of the parents. We didn't let go of all the other stuff that we were already doing, that our mothers were doing. So we piled it all on. And in piling all that on, though, our job always was to make sure everyone was okay. So we have this ingrained belief that we can't make people uncomfortable. It's not our job. It's not a good girl thing to make people uncomfortable. And our training says don't make people uncomfortable. Do what you're told, behave well, you will get rewarded. We have to rewrite that if we're going to lead. We are not responsible and accountable for everybody's feelings and opinions and for making sure everyone's okay. There are so many people in our network that we take care of who are grown-ass adults and can take care of themselves. And we're so used to taking care of them, we don't always see it. So I want to raise your awareness around that. This idea that we can't make people uncomfortable. It makes us uncomfortable to make them uncomfortable because we're not used to it. We also have this idea that we shouldn't speak up unless we're 100% sure. 100% sure. We got written proof somewhere that we are correct, that the idea we're presenting is a solid one, that the fact or opinion that we're stating has, backup to it. We don't trust our experience, our intuition. We don't trust just our creativity and our ideas to throw them out there, which means we have a habit of playing small. We have a habit of holding back, which means some of our most brilliant ideas never see the light of day because we don't put them out there. Because, well, what if I look stupid? What if it's incorrect? What if nobody likes it? What if it makes them uncomfortable? Sound familiar? This keeps us playing small. This keeps us in a space where we are not leading as a CEO. We are reacting to what everybody else wants to hear, and we are not trusting ourselves. We have an ingrained belief that if we just work hard and we keep proving that we can do the job, or we can do a better job, or we can do more, that the people around us will recognize all the work and effort that we do and reward us for it. Because how can they not see it? How can you not recognize? How can you not see all the extra hours I'm putting in? The fact that every time you call me, I'm available and I pick up the phone. How can you not see how much better the quality of my work is than my 3 other coworkers around me? We rely on recognition to be delivered to us. We wait for it. And to be delivered to us from other people, from outside sources and outside validation. And we think we're going to get our just reward. So we do not take ownership of what we've accomplished, this impact that we've actually made, the space that we should be taking up to showcase what we can really do and to truly drive our leadership. We have a mindset that says, if I show up as the real me, if I share my ideas and I do speak up, if I do and say the things that might make other people uncomfortable, even though I know it's really the right thing, if I claim credit for the impact I've made and the work I've done, then people are going to see me as too much. Too much. She's too much. She's too loud. She's too opinionated. She's too much. I mean, I can tell you you're not too much, but you're probably not going to believe me. So here's what I can tell you. I had a client the other day who used the phrase with me, I am not everybody's cup of tea. We women use that one a lot. And we take pride, right? I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm champagne, I'm whiskey, I'm whatever. Okay, fine. Yes. But the truth is, there isn't a single person on the planet who is everybody's cup of tea. There just isn't. There just isn't. So if we could just let that go, if we just let go this idea that somehow we're supposed to be agreeable enough that everybody likes us, because frankly, not everybody likes tea. And two, that somehow we're a rebel if we show up as our true selves, right? When we come back with this defiant, I'm whiskey, I'm champagne, I'm whatever. Yes, of course you are, because we're different. We're all different. If instead we could normalize the fact that not everybody's going to like us, not everybody's going to agree with us, and it's okay. It's okay. Doesn't have to be defiant, okay? Doesn't have to be angry, okay? It's just okay. It's okay. Then we're not too much. We're just who we are. This is who we are. And you already know the group of people around you that you can be 100% who you are with, who make you feel safe and comfortable and relaxed. You know who they are. And there are more people out there that will also support and embrace the who you are. You have to be willing to put yourself out there enough to go find them. So it's not that you want to seem too much. It's that in being yourself, yes, other people are going to be uncomfortable because you might start showing up in a way that they're not used to seeing you. You might start showing up in a way that pushes back against what they think their place or their power is in the situation. If we're going to be CEOs of our career, we have to be okay with that. We have to understand that there may be that dynamic. There may be some political play between somebody who thinks they have power over you, not because they have positional power, but just because of who they are. But these are the inner beliefs that we hold on to that I would like you to be thinking about, that I'd like you to raise your awareness around when these ideas pop up in your head as you are thinking through and hopefully writing down, like, what is your identity as a CEO? What is the identity? Who is this woman who's driving things in her career? As you think about this woman who's driving things in her career and this who she is, what's the energy she's bringing forward with that? How is she showing up? And this woman who is the CEO, who has this identity and this energy with her, what's the vision? What's the vision she's working towards? Clarity around her vision, identity, energy, and clarity. Those are your 3 mindset shifts that will help you identify and rewrite some of these ideas around, I don't want to make others uncomfortable, and I can't speak up unless I have proof. I can't take that risk. And if I just work harder, they'll recognize me, they'll promote me eventually. And especially the I'm too much. I have to dial myself back because I'm just too much. All right. I would like to give you, those of you who are sticking with me for how we think like a CEO, how ambitious women, your mid-career, your senior career, and you know you've got a destination. You have a vision. I want to give you a challenge in the next 2 to 3 days. 48 to 72 business, 48 to 72 hours. 3 moves I want you to make to step into this identity as a CEO and start managing your career that way. Step 1, super easy, but we struggle with it. Name a win. Look back over the last 2 weeks of what's been going on. What is something that you've done, that you've accomplished, that you've changed, that you've impacted that you have not yet claimed? And I want you to say it out loud to somebody, to another living being. Okay. And for some of you, that might give you great anxiety. Some of you are very practiced at this of, hey, here are the things I accomplished. Great. Make sure you do it. For those of you who are feeling spikes of anxiety and stress, identify the thing. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. You don't have to have created world peace or changed the world. But you have to have done something, because I know you've done something in the last 14 days that has impacted someone, made a change somewhere. Maybe it's that you finished a project and it's wrapped up and now you can move on to the next thing. That's a win. Maybe it's that you've handed off something to someone else. You've done your piece of it and now it's on to the next level. That's a win. Maybe you cleaned your house top to bottom over the holidays. That's a win. Maybe you had a really difficult conversation. You needed to give feedback to a coworker and you knew they weren't necessarily going to like it. And your win is, hey, I had this conversation and honestly, I don't even know if she took my feedback the way it was intended. Maybe she's mad at me. Maybe she didn't understand it. But I did what I needed to do and I gave the feedback. That's a win. And I want you to say it out loud to another person. And if this stresses you out, you pick a safe person. Pick your mom, pick your best friend. And if that still stresses you out, pick your dog, pick your cat. But the key is you pick a win, you say it in your loud voice. Don't telepathy it to your pet. Say it in your loud voice to another living creature. Okay, that's the assignment. That's number one. The second thing I want you to do in the next 48 to 72 hours, I want you to install a boundary. Now, I know we think about boundaries as like how I keep things out. That's not a useful way to think about boundaries. Boundaries are about, what do we want to keep in? What do we want to protect? Boundaries are protective. So I want you to think about, what do I need in my life? What do I need more of? What do I need less of? But what do I need to protect in my sphere here to help me be that CEO that I want to be? It might be a time management thing. It might be it might be a conversational thing. It might be something in your physical space, but something that you're going to put in place that protects you as the CEO, that protects the vision and the path that you have for your career. Your boundary might be something like, because my self-care is important and I need my morning routine to really feel settled and grounded in my day, I am not taking any work calls or checking email before 8:30 in the morning. It's not so much that we're keeping work out, although that is what we're doing. It is that we're keeping self-care in. That's the priority. So I want you to think about it in terms of, what do we need to incorporate and include inside our sphere, inside our boundary, in order to create and become that CEO of our career. That's the second thing. The third thing I want you to do is ask one bold question. And in asking this bold question, the goal is, how do we accelerate our influence or expand our sphere of influence? Because here's what's happening. We are quieting our voice. Clearly, I'm losing mine. All right. We are quieting our voice. When we are not speaking up, when we are not asking the questions, when we are not sharing the ideas, we're playing small. So in the next 2 to 3 days, I want you to think about and then voice the one question, the one idea, the one thing that in the last 2 or 3 weeks has been niggling at you back here. I want you to ask it out loud to somebody. This one, not to your pet, to another human being. That matters. Because what we want to do is open up the opportunity for the conversation. And in opening up the opportunity for the conversation, you are expanding your sphere of influence. You are potentially expanding the people that you influence. Now, the question might be about a project that you're working on. It might be about something that you've already done or a move that the business is making. It might even be about your relationships. It might be about interpersonal actions, right? But it's a question that says we could look at something differently. We could look at something new. Maybe we need to revisit something that we've already discussed, and I just want to take another look at it. But it's a question that's been on your mind. It's a question that maybe popped up in a meeting or popped up in a conversation, and then you kind of just tucked it away. So I want you to think over what is that bold question you can ask that opens a door to a conversation that may very well either expand your influence, expand opportunities, or accelerate, make something that you're already working on move a little bit faster. So those are the 3 assignments in the next 3 days. Name a win to another human being. And a win, like I said, it's not that it's a huge win and you've changed the world, but it is an impact. Something that you've done that's had an impact that matters to you. Name the win to another living creature. That's 1. 2, install a boundary. What are you going to protect? What are you going to preserve and make sure that you've made time for or space for, right? That you've done something with. Install a boundary. And again, all about being CEO of your career. And 3, ask a bold question. Ask it of your boss, ask it of your coworkers, ask it of your partner, but ask a bold question that invites conversation and exploration for doing something different or revisiting something with the idea of maybe we need to reevaluate this. And the reason I want you to take these actions is because this is how we build confidence. If we're going to be the CEO of our career, we actually need to be the CEO. We need to take the actions that a CEO would take. If we wait for the confidence to come, when I feel more confident, then I'll ask the question. When I feel bolder and stronger, then I'll set the boundary. If we wait for feeling more confident, we never take the action because we can always talk ourselves out of the confidence. We can always do that. Taking action, no matter how the action turns out, taking action builds confidence. Building confidence invites us to take more action. Right? It's a loop. The more actions we take, the more we build our confidence. The more we build our confidence, the more action we take. And what's in there also is when the action doesn't work, right? When the action fails or doesn't turn out the way we think, we have opportunity to learn, we have opportunity to evaluate, and we build resilience. And resilience also builds confidence. Okay, that went sideways, kind of sucked, but I didn't die. I learned something from it. So now I'm going to try it this way. And we build more confidence. It's the confidence, competence, resilience loop that we have. And I have another video on this. You can search the YouTube channel for it. Competence, competence, resilience. It's a loop, or you can call it a triangle, but they all impact each other. You have to do one to get to the next, and it repeats and it builds and it grows. And this helps us show up as CEOs of our career. So here's the thing, my dirty girls. Your leadership, your leadership status, your leadership energy, you own all that. You get to decide if you're going to be a CEO leader or a drifter leader. And I'm not here to tell you that you have to be one or the other. I am here to tell you if you have a vision, if you have a dream for what you want to accomplish, the impact you want to make, where you want to end up, what you want to build and grow, then the CEO leader route is the only way to go. The drifter route doesn't guarantee you get there. The CEO leader route does. And to be the CEO leader, you have to join the movement. You feel the pull of saying the things and doing the things. I know you do. You're ambitious, you're successful, you're an overachiever already, you're a high performer at work. You already feel the pull to do all the things you're thinking about and that you know you ought to be doing, but you've been resisting because of these mindset ideas that say you can't make others uncomfortable, you can't step out of your lane, you don't have permission. And what I'm saying is now is the opportunity to be bold, to start doing those things. Don't negotiate with it. Join it. Join the movement that you are feeling coming up within yourself to show up as the CEO leader. It is time for you to take a breath, center yourself, ground yourself, think about your identity, think about your energy, get your clarity, put on your crown, and go out there and be the CEO leader that I know you can be. Thank you for joining me, Dirty Girls, on this, talking about how we think like a CEO, the mindset shifts for ambitious women and for dirty girls everywhere. Drop your questions in the comments. Would love your feedback and would love to hear how these mindset shifts start working for you.